Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Springfest at Lowe's means can't miss savings for your home and lawn. Right now, buy 3 bags, get 3 free on Miracle-Gro 3/4 cubic foot all-purpose garden soil. Plus, buy 2, get 1 free on select exterior paint and stain via mail-in rebate. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/16, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See rebate form for complete list of eligible products. Offer excludes clearance and mistints and can't be combined with any other offer, promotion, discount, or coupon.
Welcome back to YAOK. My name is Alyssa, and we have Eric J. Brown.
We have Eric J. Brown, and we have Eric Smith.
This is a double Eric episode.
Yes.
And
He's Eric with a C, I'm Eric with a K, so we're kind of getting both sides of the Eric rainbow.
Yes.
And then we just need to figure out how to get the Eric with a CK and like all the different other spellings.
And then we will be great. You guys are also both from the Philly area and also young adult authors. However, Eric with a C is a literary agent. And so he has a lot of extra insight on the book writing process and like the market that is really cool and interesting to learn about too. Yeah, and we love being able to talk with him. This is like one of the episodes where I wish that we had the video available for everyone to look at, because his background is this like beautiful rainbow bookshelf, and it's so cute, and I love it. So you'll have to use your.
You can tell he's got like the perfect Zoom setup. Mine's
Yeah.
just that, and then my own
crazy
books
painting.
here.
Yeah, a little stack. That's fine. Mine is usually like an office. Right now, it's my boyfriend's mom's basement, so you know, it's we're just doing what we can. It's not for the video on is definitely not for me. It's for Eric Smith.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was a great episode. I loved being able to learn about him and his books and his process. And
I feel like we could probably have like an entire episode just talking about. We'll probably have to have him back on just to talk about like agenting stuff and be like, what has all these things that we don't even get into about like for writers who are aspiring and trying to get agents. I mean, there's probably so much we could talk about, but I was nervous. I wanted to give at least half of the episode towards his books because this is about focusing on authors. But it's just exciting to get to talk to an agent too. Yeah,
for sure. And like I would like to even know what his journey was like to becoming an agent and what that process looked like for him. So yeah, we have
shitty hosts. We didn't even ask that.
Listen, I wanted to also stay focused on his books, and he has a lot of them. And so there's a lot there. So maybe we'll have him back for an episode specifically like agent related. And if there are people who have questions about, or questions for Eric as an agent, then maybe we can take some listener submitted questions and bring them to him. That might be fun, right? We're really putting the cart before the horse.
Cart before the horse.
Yeah, we haven't asked Eric Smith if that would be okay, but maybe that's a fun idea. So
he's gonna listen to this and be like, "I did not agree."
What? Yeah, right. I'm so sorry, Eric Smith. I'm so sorry, and thank you for spending time talking to us today about your wonderful books. And you all are gonna love the episode.
Yeah, get into it.
Years, our lives like magnetic fields. You are my universe. You are my universe, and I'm just a planet.
Well, hi, Eric. Thanks for coming
Hello.
on. It's delightful to see you. How have you been?
Too. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah, it is. You know, you're the first Eric that
Other
I've had.
Eric.
Yeah. I feel like I realized it this morning. I was like, how am I gonna know who Alyssa's talking to?
I know. It's just going to be like, hi, Eric. Hi, Eric. So, Eric,
Hi.
how's writing
Hi,
your
Eric.
book?
When you were like, Eric, I like your books the way they're arranged back there. I was like, they've been like this forever. What are you talking about? And they're just mine. It's not a rainbow. It's just my books.
Oh my gosh. Well, for people who actually, which is everyone who can't see, we have Eric Smith on the pod, and he does have a really beautiful rainbow arrangement of all of his books on the shelves behind him, and it looks so nice. Can't find anything, but it looks beautiful.
Oh, yes.
And Eric, you are the first literary agent / writer that we have also had on this show. So
Mhm.
also, how many of those were like author copies?
Oh, these, not many. So I know this is not a visual medium that we are on right now, but like,
It's okay. We always talk about
it's like
things
it's a
behind
big
people.
rainbow. It's a big rainbow bookshelf, but then all the way on the bottom, there are a bunch of books that are just like kind of piled haphazardly, and you can only see like the back of them. Those are all like my agent copies. So they're just
Got
like
it.
right now. There's piles of books by Kayla Ankrum, who I know Eric likes quite a bit, and MK England are piled up down there.
Yeah, that's it. If you're a reader and you just want free books, become friends with authors and agents because they'll have plenty for you. In
That's
fact,
the cheat
every
code.
once in a while, every couple of years, they'll probably do like a clean out and be like, all right, well, this book is 4 years old now. I need to get rid of these 25 Polish copies that I have.
I always feel like I have a hard time getting rid of any book ever because I just have this potentially, it could be a pipe dream of having like a big library one day. So I'm like, even if I didn't love the book, it serves a purpose in the library and I can't get rid of it.
No, I feel you. I feel you. The trick is to the situation where you're sort of overwhelmed with books is to never get books signed. So I have so many signed books on my shelf that I can never get rid of, even though some of them I kind of want to. I'm like, oh, well, you know, I've read that a lot of times. I can give it to someone else, but inside has some like beautifully heartfelt message about
Yeah.
the convention. I'm like, oh, okay, this is
Rip it out, paste it into a
Yeah.
scrapbook, and then put the
Perfect.
books in
I
a
also
little free
love that-
library.
I love the idea of someone wanting to be like very earnest with you and be like, hey, let me sign this copy. You're like, no, please don't.
Please don't. I'm giving
Please
this
don't.
away. We just say, just sign it. I'm giving it away.
Oh,
But then you have to buy the other one
God.
too.
It's horrible.
That's what you get for being supportive, Eric.
I know.
You get tons and tons of books. So you are an agent, but I want to talk about I want to talk about agenting for like maybe the second half. But
Okay.
I want to talk about your books first. And since you're an agent, I can do something that I would never do to just an author, which is I need you to give us an elevator pitch for every single one of your YAs. And you have 1 minute starting now.
Oh dear. Oh, so we are serious.
Oh,
So
are we saying?
I'm just kidding about the timer, but I would like you to. I want to know if you can like give pitches like off the top of your head for your books. Or if
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like,
So I
"Oh."
guess my most recent ones, I can rattle them off. So, Don't Read the Comments is a YA contemporary novel set in the world of basically Gamergate. You know, it's two teenagers get caught up in an online game, get really close, and find that outside forces don't necessarily want them to be there. And what is it like when your safe space turns out to be not so safe anymore? You Can Go Your Own Way is my first YA rom-com. It is set in a failing pinball arcade in Old City, Philadelphia. And what happens when two friends who have had a falling out get snowed in there together and start to realize their feelings for one another. And then my most recent YA is called With or Without You. And it's about two teenagers who work in rival cheesesteak trucks in South Philadelphia who have to wrestle with their feelings for one another when a reality show decides to descend upon their family food trucks. Can they have their cheese steak and eat it too? in the novel. And those are
By the way, Eric is also in Philadelphia with me.
Yes,
We're
yes, I saw
Philadelphia
it. Both Philadelphia Erics, both writers.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are the most recent ones. Yeah.
So did you with or without? Did you originally call it with or without, and then publication said no, you have to say with?
I love that you caught up on that because like when I sent the pitch over, it was literally like WIT with the apostrophe, or WIT apostrophe out, and they're like, this won't work on like bookshop.org search engines. Like we have to change this. So we know how it's pronounced. We know.
Yeah. I knew it when I saw it. I was like, it's wit. It's wit. Cool. But I love that. I love the idea of like rival cheesesteak food trucks.
Can I tell you something, Eric? That is the book that I did more research on than any other book I've ever written. Good. Because I couldn't get a local cheesesteak truck to let me come inside. Like I talked to a whole bunch of them. I went to food trucks. I'm like, hey, so I'm a writer. I have this book that I'm writing about cheesesteak trucks. Can I come in and take a look around? And they'd be like, can you get away from me, please? Like,
oh my God. Very protective. What are the two? They probably thought you were trying to like steal their secrets, steal all their cheesesteak secrets. What are the two in Philly that are like the biggest competitors? It's Geno's and another one.
Yeah, Geno's. Yeah.
Which are not the best cheesesteaks. Eric, what do you think the best cheesesteaks are?
Ooh, I mean, anyone who lives in Philly, their answer will generally be wherever you can get one is where the best cheesesteaks are. But my favorite, there's a place on 2nd and Market called Revolution House, and they make an oxtail cheesesteak.
Whoa.
That is insane. Like that's my favorite high-end cheesesteak, I suppose. But my favorite just to grab a cheesesteak, maybe Primo Hoagies. They make a pretty good one.
Yeah. There's one near me. I think it's called D'Alessandro's. It's like in Roxborough.
Mm-hmm.
Line around the block, whatever time of day, whatever kind of weather, it's pouring, it's like it was thunderstorming last night, there was probably a line around the block still. And I'm like, I'm always sitting there saying, oh, I'm gonna go get one at some point. But one, I don't like waiting in line.
No.
And two, it's like these sticks are fine.
There's almost
again, you can get them
nothing-
anywhere and they're gonna taste pretty
Right.
much the same, probably.
Yeah.
There's almost nothing in this world that I will wait on the line for, like a real true line. Like if it's like you're waiting online to like get a snack at the movie theater, like that's different. I'm not waiting around. I can't imagine a thing that would be worth waiting around the block for like that.
Yeah. Like
You
brunch.
I waited in lines enough in
Brunch?
my life. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, never for brunch. Never for a. What was there was like a donut croissant thing that was like huge in the city for a period of time. Yeah, the cronut. Why are we doing that? It's just there's nothing I want to wait around the block for. But
SNL just had a sketch about that where it was about like people in New York just waiting in a big ass line, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was a song that they had called Big Ass Line.
Yeah,
and they're just talking about waiting in a line for 7 hours, and they get to the front of the line and it's just like room temperature pizza, and then they eat it and the girl's like, it's good. It's pizza.
But that's the experience, I think, of waiting in a line every single time. Like those, when there's like some sort of trendy food, whatever, it's always like that. You get to the front, you try it, and it's like kind of cold, not as good as you thought it was going to be. They obviously rushed because they had so many people. It's never worth it. But
you know what? The only time to wait in the line that would be worth it would be a midnight release of a book.
Yes. Because the quality
They
will be
did that
insane.
with the new Hunger Games book. I saw Barnes and Noble did a couple of them. Did I don't even think it was midnight though. I think it was like 10 p.m. They were like, we're not staying until midnight. You guys can come get this at 10.
Well, because I think they know that the people who are fans of the Hunger Games are getting like, now we're getting like a little older. They're like, they're not waiting till midnight probably.
Yeah.
Tough sell.
Like they'll just come here at like 9 a.m. tomorrow and pick it up.
Right. Exactly.
Which I guess, you could just do. That's kind of cool too.
So, Eric, when you were writing With or Without You, how did you do the research if you couldn't go into the food trucks?
So many YouTube videos. I watched a ton of YouTube videos. I went on Instagram to check out different food trucks and like, their various cute little like check out my truck. Here's our setup. Here's what this looks like. Sort of like photo montages.
Mhm.
And I used all of that in the descriptions of like what it was like to cook in there, how tall the ceilings were, like how the floor felt, and how it's all like pebbly and like has that weird ridges on it and stuff. Yeah, it's all from YouTube.
Did it make you want to open up your own food truck?
A little bit. Yeah, I have a couple of. I got to tell you, a lot of my closest friends here in Philly and outside of town are like tech people, and I mentioned the idea of putting together a food truck or doing some kind of a restaurant, and one of my friends said, "Well, how much would that cost? What is it, like half a Bitcoin?" And I was like, "I can't believe you talk like this."
What does that even mean? What does that even? I don't even have a frame of reference for what that could possibly mean.
I had to look
Also,
up.
it changes, so I think it's probably like $10,000-$15,000 right now,
Yeah,
and it
I had to look it up.
Really?
Worth, yeah.
Oh my god!
But I'll take half a Bitcoin, and then I'll go open my food truck. It'll be great. It'll have some horrible literary name, like
yeah,
War and Chickpeas or something. It'll be great.
That's good.
I'm like sitting here trying to come up with literary puns.
I'm thinking there's got to be something with like flipping a burger and flipping a page. There's something in there. There's something there. I'm not.
And then you don't sell burgers.
Yeah, you're right. It's salads. It's salads.
It's all salads.
I would imagine that building the imagery for working in a food truck too, the one thing I'm thinking of is like the smells, which you can't get from a YouTube video. And maybe this is like silly, but I would imagine you would go home smelling like onions and steak every single day. You would never live a day without being just a little bit hungry for something.
I used to work at a Starbucks, and I would come home smelling like coffee every single day, and I was like, I didn't like coffee either, so at the time I was like, as soon as I got home, you can't smell it when you're in there working all day, but as soon as you get home, you're just like, everything smells like coffee, and you're like, I need to shower immediately. I don't even feel like dirty because it's not like a greasy product, it's water and beans, but I was just like, I hate this smell. Now I'm like, oh, I like coffee. It was my unrefined college palate.
Yes.
So when you were writing, so it was Don't Read the Comments, and then was there another in between that was young adult? Because you have a lot of other.
You can go your own way.
You can go your own way, and then Jagged Little Pill, which I wrote in between. You Can Go Your Own Way and With or Without You.
Okay, so Don't Read the Comments was your very first. How do you feel like your process has evolved from the first book that you wrote to now?
That's a good question. So I had a couple of smaller press books before Don't Read the Comments, and I think the thing that changed was me listening to my wife about what I should be writing, right? She's very smart, and I remember the first two books I wrote were these like epic YA fantasy novels that no one read them, but they came out, and then I wrote like another like YA fantasy, and she told me like the best stuff that you write tends to be the stuff that you care wildly about. Like, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah.
And she was right. Like, I'd written a lot of essays that had gone really viral, and I wasn't really saying what I wanted to say with my other books. So she's like, you should write something where you're trying to say something. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. Why haven't I thought of that? And Don't Read the Comments was like the first book I ever wrote where I was writing while I was really angry. And it showed, like, that's my best-selling book. It still sells a bunch of copies. So yeah, my process changed where I was like, you know what? I'm going to write when I'm angry now and again. And I kind of go back and forth where it's like, this is my angry book. This is my happy book. This is my angry book.
Yeah.
Right after Don't Read the Comments, I wrote a snowed-in rom-com.
Yeah.
Then I did Jagged Little Pill, which was an angry book. And then I did a cheesesteak rom-com. So like, one for me, one for you,
I like the label of a cheesesteak rom-com.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. So yeah, that's how the process.
I like a pinball rom-com. Did you do any pinball research for that one?
Oh my god, so much. I went to the Pinball Museum in Asbury Park. I went to a bunch of the arcades here in Philly, and I did so much research that when I turned it into my editor, she emailed me after like her first read through and was just like, Eric, what is this book about? I was like, oh, it's about
Pinball.
kids and they get snowed in the pinball arcade. She's like, Eric, the first chapter, you're talking about solenoids, you're talking about the bumpers, you're talking about the black market for pinball parts that aren't available online. She's like, what is this? And it was this awesome learning moment for me where like, you have to remember what your book's about, and it's not necessarily about all the fun research that you do. It's about the characters. It's not a book about pinball, even though pinball is in it.
I think that you should actually write the black market pinball book, like thriller. I think that would be cool. I love pinball. I'm the one reader who'd be like, I want that book. I love pinball so much. I like one of my, you know how like there's always that dream in your head where you're like, ooh, if I'm ever like have like fuck you money, that's when I'm gonna do like this thing. I'm buying an Elvira pinball machine.
Ooh.
I've already looked it up. They're like $8,000.
Oh my God.
It's a lot. And then you have to maintain it too yourself. So it's like there's all of that involved, and there's a black market for the parts and everything. But when I have more money than God, I'm getting a pinball machine.
There you go. You should go on
use it.
go on the message board called pinsiders.com, which is real. And that's where a lot of pinball enthusiasts talk.
Insiders.
Insiders, yeah.
That's really
There's a
great.
pinball arcade in Havertown, actually, that I've actually been thinking about going just because you just go and spend an entire day playing pinball and don't think about anything else. I think that would be delightful. How did you get involved in Jagged Little Pill? Because that's with Alanis Morissette, and Diablo Cody was with that one too, right?
Yeah. It's a funny story. So I got an email quite randomly from the editor over at Amulet and Abrams, Maggie over there. And she was like, hey, I have this IP project. I think you might be a good fit for it. I can't email you about it, though. Can we hop on a phone call? And I was like, oh, my God, yes. I got a Star Wars novel. This is when it's finally happening. I got Star Wars. And then we hop on the phone, and she tells me it's Jagged Little Pill. It's this Broadway musical. And the big reason she reached out is that, Alanis and Diablo and the whole team wanted an adoptee to write the book, right? So a big part of Jagged Little Pill, there's an adoptee main character. There's all this stuff in there about transracial adoption. And I'd written a little bit about it in some of my short stories that have been in some anthologies. And I've complained on social media a lot about like adoptee representation in YA novels. It's something I get really, really worked up about because there's not enough of it. And it paid off. She was like, I saw you talking about this. I know you're passionate about it. Would you want to do this? So of course, yes. They actually sent Don't Read the Comments to Alanis, Diablo, and the team, and then they picked me. So it was I got very lucky there. And it's, I don't know, I think it's a good lesson in being very loud about what you're passionate about and having it pay off. I've seen it happen for other authors, like Preeti Chibber wrote Spider-Man because she was really loud about how much she loved Spider-Man online. They tapped her to write it. So, for my writer friends who are listening, be loud about what it is you care about.
Yeah, every time you think you're being a dork or that nobody cares, just be even louder because somebody is eventually going to do a Google search and find you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's awesome.
I love that thought because you're right. Like so many times I think we like the people who are most successful in really anything are the people who are being loud about something that really means something to them. And then versus I see this a lot in like content creation, influencers, that kind of stuff. Like you can always tell the person who's creating the thing that because they just really love it and they enjoy it. And like that genuine like passion and authenticity comes through so much. And so for you writing these things where your wife is like, just write the thing that you want, say the thing that you want to say. I think that's such great advice across the board for like anything anyone does.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
If you don't,
and you're also a literary.
Passion, what's the point?
Right. And being a literary agent, I'm sure that you have read a lot of books that have felt one way or the other, where you can probably feel the heart in one thing more than you can many others.
Oh no, absolutely. And yeah, I'm coming up on having sold almost 100 books soon. So I read a lot.
Wow. That's so awesome. Are there any kinds of books that you especially like to get from the people that you're like, from the writers that you work with?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, a big part of my heart is always going to be middle grade and YA books because it's what I write and it's what I read the most of. So I feel like I get it the most. But like my favorite books to work on and get sent are like sort of genre defying, like upmarket and commercial fiction where like The Time Traveler's Wife is like the perfect example of that, where there's sci-fi, but there's this complicated love story, but the language is a little bit literary, but it's still very accessible. Like I like books that are hard to explain, and sort of hard to define, where you might end up seeing it on a bunch of different bookshelves in the same bookstore.
That's really interesting. That's a really good.
Love that weird stuff.
Love that.
Those are the kind of books that like draw me in too. I like, there are specific genres that I will always seek out. I'll always seek out like thrillers or horror, but I love it when there is like a genre that it just seems like it's like this normal, whatever, run of the mill story, but there is that kind of twist of like a different genre element coming into it.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. And I think a lot of people do. I think that gets exciting because I feel like it's exposing people to a genre convention that they may not pay as much attention to. So for them, it's like fresh and exciting. And it's not just a rom-com. It's a rom-com with aliens in it or something.
Yes.
Or it's a rom-com that also has this thriller aspect.
Like
and
I will
so
rant
it's a new exciting thing for them.
I will rant to people endlessly about like Ashley Poston and the work that Ashley does with like The Dead Romantics and like The 7-Year Itch and how these are romance novels, but here's a little splash of magic. Here's a little splash of time travel. Here's a dead person. Like I love it. Like give me that, or anything Emily St. John Mandel does. Just just shoot it right into my heart. Like I love it all.
That's the one, Station 11, right?
Oh yeah,
which is like the post-apocalyptic, but it's also more just about humanity and art. It's like
the time jumps
crazy.
And everything. It's gorgeous. And like I was at a conference with her last year, and I purposely didn't go online to say hi or anything because I thought I would start crying. I was like, I know myself. I love her so much. I've read all her books. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna go to my other room. There are a couple authors like that where I feel like if I saw them, I would just weep and it would be terrible.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I get like that sometimes, but instead of crying, I just get really, really nervous, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. What do I fucking say? And then I say something like really stupid, and then I just think about it for years afterwards. And
yeah,
yeah.
I just imagine you being online. I imagine you being online being like, don't be weird, don't be weird, don't be weird, don't be weird.
And now I don't even go, like when I'm at a festival, I usually would stand in line to get, by the way, I say in line, not online. Because you're in a line. Not
sure.
on a line.
I agree.
There's
I can
no
get on.
line you're standing.
Yeah, I'm enrolled to that.
But I was at this one book festival. I was also a guest. And I was in an author's line, and the people that were in front of me turned around and said, "Hi, can you sign my book? Because I won't be here when it's your signing time." And I was just like, "That's wonderful. Yeah, sure, I can do that." And then as soon as I was like, "Oh God, don't look up, Ben, don't look up." And like as soon as I finished signing, he looks up and he's like, "Eric, this is my line. What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm not trying to steal your thunder." And I felt like a jerk.
That happens to me now and again, but usually when I look down at the book they ask me to sign, it's something by Daniel Jose Older, and I have to be like, I'm not him.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. Ugh, I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with a Business Unlimited smartphone plan. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second internet plan with savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Do you know too much about your favorite musician's pet cat? Are you maybe one of those people that just has to watch every TikTok and Instagram reel from your favorite actor? I don't know. Kind of sounds like you have a parasocial relationship. Well, if you're curious to learn more about how these kinds of relationships form and function and how we find meaning in them, you should check out the newest season of In Defense of Fandom. For Season 3 on the podcast, we'll be taking a deeper look at the relationship between creators and their fans. In the era of social media, fan conventions, and constant access to our fandom's favorite actors, parasocial relationships abound. In Season 3, we're taking a deeper look at this phenomenon, and even branching outside the world of TV. As the host, I'm especially excited to dip my toes in the world of music and fandom, so I hope you enjoyed this new season, launching April 1st. You can find In Defense of Fandom wherever you listen to podcasts, part of the Geekscape Podcast Network.
So what do you think being a literary agent helps when, like, how does that help you when you're writing your own books?
Oh God, I wish that it did.
Really?
Yeah. So like I have this problem where like I don't want to write to the market, right? Like I don't care about that. And I wish I did, because like, you know, my most recent book that doesn't come out until 2027 is like a middle grade space opera. And my agent brain is like, middle grade science fiction is the hardest category to sell in when it comes to children's books. But I'm going to write my middle grade space opera about why billionaires are bad. I don't care. And, you know, it took my long suffering agent like 2 years to sell that book. When my agent brain is just like, don't do it. Write something commercial, write something that will sell.
Right.
I don't know. I don't believe in following the market. And I think if you're a writer, you need to write what you care about. And hope that the market responds. Just be familiar with the rules so you can break them later. Like I know middle grade sci-fi is hard, but I know it sells. I know it exists, so I'm going to try anyway. I think it would be different if I was like, well, I'm going to write a middle grade novel that's 300,000 words. Like that's being completely ignorant of the market. You know, being aware of the market and writing around it, I think is fine.
Do you ever, when you're writing, do you ever internalize rejections that your own authors that you represent have gotten, where you're like, oh, I know that this person has rejected a book and said this, so I realize I might be doing something similar. I want to avoid that. And then do you have like this kind of extra block? Because I know as a writer, we all have the audience block in our head where we're like, oh, am I writing for the right audience? Is this going to find the right person, and what are people looking for? But now you have on top of that the editor in your head too.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think so.
Good. That's healthy, I think.
I think my books.
I feel like I would. That's why I asked that.
I think my books
are not an agent.
Different. Yeah, my books are a lot different than my clients' books. Although I feel like me and MK England sometimes write in the same space. Yeah, I think they're a little. Yeah, I haven't thought. Wow, that's such a good question. I'm going to think about that for a while.
If you didn't before, now all of a sudden you're going to be writing and be like, damn it, Eric. All of a sudden there'll be like some random rejection that came up and you'll pop in your head. You'll be like, oh no. When your authors come to you saying, hey, I have this idea. Here it is. This is what I want to write. Knowing that it may not fit in the market.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you have to either see how passionate they are or at least feel the same kind of passion? Or would you kind of be like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Maybe save that.
It's a
or
bit
is it
of
like
both.
a case by case?
Yeah, it's a bit of both and like a case by case kind of basis where like if I know the editors that will understand it, that usually helps a lot. If I can point to comparative like sort of books, that helps a lot, where it's not so much that this book is just like that book, but here are some other books doing something a little bit similar in terms of genre blending or character arcs. I feel like the only time I've ever said like, no, this isn't the one when it comes to an idea that's out of the box is usually when there's something else that is like just like it out and about. You know, that happens sometimes. You think you come up with something entirely original and one of your friends or your agent is like, that's currently out, you know? Like I sent one of my friends last year, like a beat for beat synopsis that I had it was an idea for about a middle grade novel in the Pine Barrens where like a little kid is taking care of like a baby Jersey Devil, right? And it turns out his father is like hunting the mother and doesn't really know it. And then he's like, Eric, that's a Netflix movie about a chupacabra. It exists already. Like, and it was the same exact thing, and I had not heard of it. So like, yeah, your beta readers.
Is it called Chupa?
Yeah. It's
which
the exact same plot, apparently.
By the way, I think. I wonder if it's good.
I don't know. I don't want to watch it.
Because that's the other thing. Like, if it sucks, you can always write it because then nobody's going to know about it.
That's true. And also, I feel like the same story can be told many times in many different ways by many different authors. So, whatever.
I agree. But I've also been on the receiving end of that as well, where I have texted somebody, hey, what do you think about this idea? And they go, yeah, that already exists. This book. I'm like, oh, right. I thought it sounded familiar. I think it's right. Which that's always, if anybody online is like, oh, this person plagiarizes this, it's like, I guarantee you they didn't plagiarize it unless it's like ripped directly. You can see when it is plagiarized. I guarantee you they probably read that book.
Yeah.
And they read a lot of other books, and then 5 years in between, they were like, "Ooh, hey, you know what? I wanna write this specific book." And then there's like similar themes and ideas and storylines, and all of a sudden, it's like, "Oh, that exists already."
Yeah,
it's a shame how fallible the human brain is.
Oh my God, Eric. So I always like to ask people who are writers and come on this podcast what their process is like. We've come up with a term, if you're either a pantser or a planner, and planners
plotter.
I'm sorry.
Or a pantser. And we didn't come up with it, by the way. That's a very well-known thing.
Is it? Okay, I didn't know this. See, I'm not a writer, so I don't know. So this is all very new to me. So
don't give me credit for that. The interwebs invented that.
You're right. We were just talking about plagiarism, so I thought I would take a stab at it. Okay, so where do you fall on this scale?
Yeah, I'm an extreme plotter.
Okay.
Like I write a synopsis that's usually like a good 10 pages long. That's like the beat for beat of the whole book, and then I sit down and I write a horrible first draft. Like I just like bang out the story. Like every one of my YA novels like started off like a finished draft of like 40,000 words, and then I go back in, I fix it up because I don't know, time is precious when you have like kids running around and a day job and everything. So like just getting that zero draft out and then coming back to it when I have time and touching it up when I have time, that works the best for me. So I don't know, my friends get really mad when I tell them certain books of mine were written in like 10 days. But the reality is that like they get polished up for like a year before I can even show them to anybody.
Right.
It's a gift to be a fast writer, but also it's a double-edged sword because not only are you a fast writer, but then you have to fix that book
Fix
because
it all up.
you wrote it fast. That's me too. I'm a fast writer, but it takes a year to basically get it into something that isn't just word slop.
Word slop.
And I knew that you were a plotter because I know that you like to go online and shame people, telling them that they should be working on their synopsis.
Oh,
And every
my
single
goodness.
time I just see that and I'm like, absolutely not. I refuse. But I have been writing synopsi. What's the plural for that?
They're so helpful. They really, really are.
Yeah, they are. My problem is once I write the synopsis, I feel like I've told myself the story and I'm not interested anymore.
Oh, interesting.
So I have to I can't get too into it. I say I can't get too into it, but my synopsis end up being like 8 to 10 pages as well, where it is every single thing in my head that I have thought of so far. But I try to leave little gaps so that I can find excitement in there. Even if I like come up with an idea, like as I'm writing it, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm going to skip writing that because maybe I can finesse it and that'll be something in my head that I can write towards." And then it gets exciting for me. That's my only problem with plotting. I just get bored by it. I think it's my ADHD.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I just always feel like then your brain just works in a very different way where like you're able to move with the story without the framework kind of already being there. Like the story is already living in your head. Where like I would imagine I would need the framework to be like, and now I know where the story goes next.
I know how it's going to end. It's just making those two meet in the middle and kiss, which is why it's so sloppy in the middle. It's the sloppy middle.
Meet in the middle and kiss is so funny. That's so great. I love it. So are there any kinds of books that you haven't written yet, Eric, like any genres that you are wanting to dip a toe into?
Oh, my heart, yes. I have been trying to write an adult rom-com for years, and
Ooh.
I've written 3.
Mm-hmm.
One died on submission very fast. The second one, like by the time I had finished it, someone else wrote the same exact premise, and that book was like a USA Today bestseller. Like that I can't send that out and about. It was so cute too. It was like a little free library rom-com where like these two people who hated each other were corresponding anonymously via a little free library based on the tastes inside. And turns out someone wrote it. So that one also died. And now I have a third one that I have a draft of. And like, I just need to finish fixing it. But I don't know, after like 2 books, like not making it, it's kind of hard to keep pushing. But I'm going to try one more time.
Keep going. I know you can do it, Eric.
Thanks, my friend. But yeah, I read so many of them. I read so many rom-coms. Like I'm looking at like the pile of them I have over here on this wall, and I'm just like, I want to be part of your world, you know? Like I'm looking at
Part of Your World is a great rom-com. It's a good one.
I think we were saying last week, Alyssa has been in a reading slump, and I always said that rom-coms and thrillers are the 2 best things to get out of a reading slump. But Alyssa's in reading a thriller, so I was like, read a rom-com, it'll help you. I always think romance kind of helps you because you get connected to the characters and then you end up loving them, and it makes you want to read faster and you get more out of this.
100%.
Yeah. Do you feel like a rom-com?
I'm on submission right now with my adult rom-com, and it's terrifying. So
is it a harder book to sell, an adult rom-com, because there's like, I don't know.
So it's like so this is the agent brain turning on, but it's like an oversaturated market right now where like there's a rom-com boom, particularly in like 2020, 2021.
Right.
And now there's so many, and publishers have so many. So yeah, it's oversaturated, and it has to be quote unquote high concept in a way that makes it stick out. And that's hard because, you know, you think what you're writing is high concept sometimes, and then you find out there's other books like it or whatever the case might be.
Yeah. And is there like, I know like romance readers are voracious. They will chew through like 2 books in a day sometimes. But I know a lot of them are getting books from like Kindle Unlimited and stuff, which is, there's a lot of, I think even like publishing is getting into now. It used to only be like self-published and indie presses, but now even like HarperCollins emails me about putting my books on Kindle Unlimited. So I feel like just the fact that you have you're not just fighting for space on bookshelves like it used to be. It's like, no, you're fighting for space everywhere because romance readers are looking for books and they know how to find what they want. And if you're not standing out in some way, you're going to get passed over.
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah. I think about when I'm reading a rom-com, like what I look for. And sometimes when I'm like kind of just in Barnes and Noble or I'm browsing and on the Kindle, sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title, but I have to read like the little blurb about it anyway. And it really is like, it's just my mood. Like sometimes I'm in the mood for something that is like a little bit more intense. And sometimes I'm like, this is a book that is like barely 200 pages. It's about a girl who like, it's like the most cliche story ever. I know how this one goes, and that'll be $9.99 and I will purchase. And I will purchase
5 stars when you're done.
5 stars, and I loved it. It was exactly what I came here for. But there's so many. You're right. There's so many. And in some way, it's actually kind of nice because like you can find a rom-com that is specific to, like, if you are going to travel to Scotland during the holidays and you're going to a little cottage, I can guarantee there's a rom-com about that. And you can find exactly the situation that you're in and find it in a rom-com. So in a way, it's kind of nice because it being an oversaturated market means that there's like these little nuances in all of these books that is so fun and so specific. And I love it. They are, like you said, Eric Brown, that there are some rom-coms where you really can read them. Like you can read like 2 in a day.
Oh yeah.
And just like burn through them. And they're just like happiness and joy and just like fun. And it's great. So we're going to get your rom-com on the shelves too. And it's going to be awesome.
Yes, please. Let's go.
Do you feel like there's a part of the writing the rom-com process that had like, what had to evolve for you to have written 3 and be like, okay, like I'm getting there. This is going to be the one.
That's a great question. Maybe working on the banter, right? Because like I read a bunch of rom-coms and I feel like the banter affects a lot of the YA that I write, but like in adult banter, it's different because like banter in a really good rom-com doesn't necessarily always move the plot along, but it grounds you in the characters in a really unique way. And sometimes with the immediacy of YA, I'm like, I got to keep the pace going, got to keep going. Here's a little bit of banter, but let's keep going. Like, I feel like you can sit with it a little bit more in adult rom-coms, and they do sit with it a little bit more in adult rom-coms. So I think that was an adjustment there. I also learned I am not the one to write spicy scenes. I thought, like some of my favorite rom-coms have a lot of spice. So I'm like, all right, maybe give this a shot. Oh no, Eric, this is not your strength. You will end up on one of those Reddit websites that's men writing women, what things.
That's free advertising. I would go for
that.
No, these will be closed door romances.
You and Morrissey is like the awards for the like what worst sex scene or something.
Oh no, it's terrible.
I think they do actually give that out, where it's like they give out a literary award for like the worst writing for sex scenes in books, and I think Morrissey won it at some point.
That's hilarious. I feel like it would be really hard to write. Like if you're, every time I read a sex scene in a book, I'm like, wow, and it's so hot, and it's so like, it's like everything. But if I had to sit down and actually like produce that from my brain, I don't know how I could.
I had messaged one of my friends. I messaged Kosako Jackson, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to write these spicy scenes. Like, how do you do it? Like, what should I do? It's like, oh, Eric, just pretend it's your wife. I was like,
oh my
no,
God.
I don't this makes it weird now.
That makes it, like, yeah, I don't
Then
know if that would
everybody's
help
reading
either.
about it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's also like the language that people use in spicy scenes for like rom-com books is so interesting to me. Because I'm a sex and relationship coach, and so like writing or using words that are like the word for the body part is important in like educational purposes and whatever. But when you're reading it, like the word, the like,
Nobody wants to read vulva.
no one, right? No one wants to read vulva. So like you have to be like, there's I think it's in, oh my god, it's not a court of thorns and roses. It's not that one, but it's the other, Fourth Wing maybe, where whenever the author is referring to like any genital area, calls it their sex. And I know that's not the only author that does that, and I just like can't take it serious.
I feel like that's when it's like for fantasy stuff, they always try to do that because it sounds a little more elevated than like cock or pussy.
It's all kind of bad, but sex is the worst. Don't use that. That's where we have to draw the line.
I haven't read the Fourth Wing books yet. I have them because they're like beautiful looking books, and I saw them in the thrift store by my house, and I was like, I just need them on my shelf.
They're really pretty.
Eventually.
They're good. They're good inspo for your spicy scenes.
There we go.
But then you also have to send your agent your spicy scenes, and it's definitely awkward when you have a business relationship with somebody and you're like, here's this porn I wrote. That was the weird thing for me. I was just like, this is going to be weird. I'm like, I had to like psych myself up just to hit send on the email. Like the draft was done for probably a week, and I was just like, ugh. Because it's a hard left turn to go from writing YA to gay rom-com with spicy scenes. So, and my agent only represented children's books up until recently. So I was like, I mean, it's like I knew he had read those things before. It's not like he's just some Puritan out there in California, but
some Puritan is crazy. Also, you just like really you threw him for a loop, and that's okay. Yeah. It's fun. You're spicing up his day.
I think he was ready for it.
Yeah, you spiced up his day with your spice.
Yeah, he didn't say it was bad, so. And he didn't circle any of the words and say, hey, don't use this, you're overusing this. So I think I did a nice little peppering of everything.
A little peppering.
It is hard to give editorial notes as an agent on like spicy scenes, because it's just like, hey, I think there's too many limbs here. You know, like I never really know what to like.
Too many limbs.
What's the position here? Are they playing Twister? What is this?
I know. Yeah, sometimes I think actually even especially with I think Fourth Wing, sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, I actually have no idea what's going on. I actually cannot tell who's where or who's. I'm trying to picture it in my mind's eye, and it's actually impossible. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm on the journey with you. If things are throbbing, sure, absolutely, no problem. I don't know what is and where we are, but no problem.
Throbbing. Yeah, that's something I didn't put in enough of. I didn't do enough throbbing, I think. I'll have to add it and copy it.
That's light work. Throbbing is light work. Come on. Oh my gosh. What are you, Eric, reading now? Eric Smith. What are you reading now that you are loving or not loving? I don't know. Maybe you're feeling neutral.
If you hate it.
That's so hard because I feel like I exist in the future when it comes to my reading right now. Like so much of the stuff it's just not here yet. Mm-hmm. So I've been reading The Best We Could Do, which is a graphic novel. I just got, where are you? Visitation by Corey Egbert. I'm really intrigued by graphic novel memoirs because like I feel like it's a really cool way to like, if you have a really powerful story, but not a lot of, I guess, words for it, you know? Like, I think graphic novels are just such a remarkable way to get a powerful story across. I just read a couple months ago, and it comes out next month this book called Shampoo Unicorn by Sawyer Lovett.
That's a great
title.
I have been recommending this book to everyone because it is a YA novel told in first, second, and third person, as well as podcast scripts.
Wow.
About a small town, this teen podcast that talks about, being a gay kid in like a conservative area, and like how that podcast ripples out to the kids who need it. It was remarkable, and it broke like every rule I've ever seen in a YA novel, like in terms of like structure and craft. Everyone needs to read it. Like I feel like that book will be like an assigned reading in MFA classes. So watch out for that. It comes out really soon.
It's called Shampoo Unicorn.
Shampoo Unicorn. Yep.
Great title.
Are you at all nervous about getting an influx of writers who are doing that all but haven't learned the rules before they break it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, because like that's what a challenge.
Yeah, because it's like that on paper where you're like, oh, there's first, second, third person, and there's all these other like different kind of story elements to it. It's like that sounds really cool, but then you have to also be
able to do
a great writer to like juggle all of that and do it well. Amy Ignatow blurbed it too. She's also a Philly writer that we're friends with.
Oh, cool. I love that. I love having the whole like Philly writer community on the pod.
Oh, we should do a whole Philly writer community episode.
Oh, that would actually be really fun. Have everyone all together. Then we can all
everyone
debate on.
Talk at once.
Yeah, everyone talk at once and let us know where to get the best cheesesteak.
There we go.
And everyone would be like, wherever.
Right, yeah, wherever. And also, I like the idea of having writers come on and tell us where to get the best cheesesteak. Cheesesteak.
Ooh, cheesecakes. Yes, I like cheesecake better than cheesesteak.
I think so too. I don't eat meat, so I'm not eating a cheesesteak anyway. But I'll take the suggestion for someone else. Anyway, Eric, this has been so lovely. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and and we're really excited to see what comes next from you. I'm going to put Shampoo Unicorn on my list. And do you have anything coming out in the near future that we should keep our eyes out for?
No, that's nothing until 2027.
Love it. Okay, so everyone can check out With or Without You, and let us know how much they love it. With or Without You, and let us know how much they love it. And I think that's all I got. Eric J. Brown?
Yeah, I think you did good. Good job, Eric Smith.
When she asked me how far we can take it, I tell her we can take it across the entire universe. You are my universe, not just a planet.
So that's our show. Alyssa, tell me, what are you reading?
I am reading that same
Are you still on
damn book. Only House Left in the Pines or something. It's fine. I'm getting through it. Not that much. I'm probably like 3/4 done with it, but I read like 4 pages and then it feels like my dogs are harassing me. I'm looking at the time and I'm freaking out because I have 800 things to do. It's like my focus has just been really bad. So I don't know. Maybe I really do need to take the switch to a rom-com more seriously and like get into that, because it's just like it's April 1st. I've read one whole book this whole year. This is the great reading slump of 2025 for me, where I've read one whole book this whole year and I'm almost done with my second in April. My goal this year was 40 books. Girl, we're so behind.
I think I have read more than you, and I'm a slow reader. So
yeah. What are you reading now?
I did finish Mr. Magic.
Okay, final thoughts.
And I loved it. I thought it was great. I have questions about the ending, which I'll ask you after us, because I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well. But I thought it was great. So if anybody's looking for a kind of, I want to say kind of like a like It, but not as terrifying.
That's
it's like, because it's like the friend group kind of thing. It feels like that, but it's great. I loved it. And I have actually started a new book called Beyond Reach. It's by Karen Slaughter, who I've read a lot of her books. And again, like I said, I like to do everyone, if I don't know what I want to read, I know there's like certain authors that I know whatever book it is, I will pick it up and start reading it. And I started reading it last week and I'm like 200 pages in. So I'm like, cool.
Oh, I miss those days. Well, I'm glad you liked Mr. Magic, and I think everyone has questions at the end because it's not super neat and tidy.
I would say like usually endings like that would piss me off, but this one I think was perfect. Like, I like saw it coming and I was kind of annoyed, but then as I was reading, I was like, no, you know what? This is the ending. This is the best ending you could possibly have. It's the most satisfying ending, I think.
I agree. I feel similarly, where normally I'd be like, what the fuck? But it made sense. It made sense for what that story is.
Yeah.
Anyways. Well, we hope you like this episode. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And I was going to give Eric Smith's new literary agency a shout out.
Yes.
Not only is Eric Smith a literary agent, he has started his own literary agency. It is called Neighborhood Literary. So if you're an aspiring author, go to like something like manuscriptwishlist.com and look up Eric Smith. See if your stories are going to match what he's looking for as an agent, and then maybe query him. Say, hey, heard you on YAOK, and I think you'd be a great match for this book. And you know what? He'll probably be like, well, I'm going to read that then.
I love that. That's great. I didn't even know that manuscript wish list was a thing, so I'm learning. That's okay.
If you are an aspiring author, go to manuscriptwishlist.com. You can look up all of the agents and certain genres, and you can read what they're looking for, and it'll give you a whole list. It's great.
That's
Makes it so much easier for you to come up with a query list of all of the agents that you're going to send it to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Maybe that we should have Eric back on for an agent episode, and we can give like all of the tips and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot that he can offer. Okay.
November's NaNoWriMo month, National Novel Night Writing Month. That's what we're going to do. Producer Matt, put it in the books. But for now, everybody, please, you can go to YAOK Podcast on Instagram and let us know what you're reading. Or give us some questions for literary agents that you might have in November.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
He listen next time. I never know what to say. See you next time, because we're not going to see anybody. Hey, listen.
You're the perfect blend of elegance and style, and your ride should be no different. The 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid meets all your needs, from business to brunch and everywhere in between. With head-turning details like a sleek front end, plus stylish interior, and an available 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and seamless tech integration. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the new 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.